Welcome back, folks. It's Imperial versus Bestia, or the Ghost of Bestia after map number 1. It was a 13-3 shellacking by the Brazilians. It's Boggs and Pineapple Phillips on the microphone, and we are happy to be with you here for this quarterfinal of the ESL Pro League Season 19 South American Qualifier. The winner of this will have one more best of 3 to decide the two teams from South America going to Malta for Season 19 of EPL. It's Imperial on the CT side. This time it's Bestia's map pick, and we see double dualies from Imperial yet again, much like we saw on Nuke. No kits we have seen on the pistol round from either side so far, which is a bit interesting. I mean, in North America, you'll see a lot of kits on the pistol rounds. In South America, you see a distinct lack of them typically. Double smoke and molly setup, though, for the T side, which is quite intriguing, Nate. And a very slow and trepidatious pistol yet again from Bestia.
It's one of those more calculated than trepidatious, but given, again, that monstrous defeat on map 1, it could very well be nerves that slows them down. Regardless, it was a slow crawl around the map, followed up by a play over towards B. Smokes down for both requisite lanes, but still two on the site to try and defend Vinny. Burned out, caught by Meyer, and a second kill across the map to start things off over towards, I believe, Boiler, if I'm not mistaken. In the last fight, while it's drawn out with no way, it's still no kills in either direction. The issue is Imperial have rotated around. They can't allow a take to come through, and Bestia have read it perfectly. They got that pick early on towards Boiler/Arch, and now they have a free A site thanks to the rotations. Very well read from Bestia, leaving all avenues open and making things all the more difficult now for Imperial to mount a retake.
They've really done a marvelous job of reading this round. It's been great to watch them work so far on this map. Their pick for a reason, it seems. But they still have to hold the line against Tenny Decenti in no way. There's the first, Tomasin, another one for him, traded out, and he's got a third as well. Henny stuck by truck, it's a 1v2, but Noxy puts him to bed. Bestia, their first lead of the series, comes on their map picks pistol round. A bit scary towards the end, but a critical win confidence-wise for Bestia. Not as confident as Imperial's was over on a Nuke, but much the same, a trendsetter. Bestia might have to deal with a force, although Imperial don't seem too keen on it. Looking like they're just going to go for a couple pistol upgrades, P250, a nade, two P250s, and that's going to be just about it for the CT side. Farm money time for Bestia, and get ready for round number 3, because that is when the real challenge begins. And so you might even say the map truly starts.
Yeah, pistol round can be seen as a coin toss a lot of the time. From there, it's the first 3 rounds going their way, or an aggressive fight early on. But I agree. The meat and potatoes of this game is when the rifles come out for both teams. Imperial wanting to get that done sooner rather than later, stacking towards B in a very unorthodox way. No way spotting from second oranges. Phelps hiding towards back coffin, and 3 towards CT to swing off contact. I like this setup. Bestia, though, looks like they're going to commit towards A. 3 players getting brackets control, a 4th with the bomb in tow. Luchov just at top and out, holding in case someone gets aggressive for information.
Vinny pushes down, gets spotted out, as Luchov is just holding the line, looking to get some extra cash here, as the stack on B will not go the way of Imperial. Bestia read it well, slow, methodical, feel out the map, and get that free bomb plant. A hunt is on, though, and this might be costly for Bestia. So many times we see teams go for hunt against the pistols, and it costs them a considerable amount of firepower. The Mac 10s at least should be going in. Get some upgrades, get some money, really. You can get upgrades off of the back of that money if you die. And the Mac 10 in the hands of Imperial is not really going to be worth much. There's 3 kills from the Mac 10s, 1,800 in the bank, exactly what they wanted. And now Decenti's going to go chase it down. Deco will ring his bell, and a 2-0 flawless victory for Bestia, so they will be on the full bonus this round too. That'll be a nice little boost for the Argentine squad on their map pick. Imperial, in the meantime, going all in for their buy. Vinny sacrificing firepower for utility, opting for the FAMAS. And M4A1Ss on the entire rest of the Imperial squad. But a good T-side start for Bestia would do wonders for their hopes at a map number 3.
Henny also foregoing a helmet. That's important to note versus 2 Galils and 2 MAC-10s. That could do him in prematurely. See if fortune's on his side or not.
Fortune favors the bold, Nate.
Definitely does. And he's playing a passive spot, so it could very well work out. It's a very passive setup all around for Imperial. 3 players A, 2 towards B. That's the kind of standard. But the way in which they're playing these sites is indeed a little bit scared, I dare say. Player on site, player in pit, player arch. And 2 towards B, just holding the site proper. Definitely doing most of the map control to BESTIA.
Okay, I like how they're taking banana control here as the hit comes in. Myron gets Descenti. Henny and Phelps are able to grab 2. So it's a 2-for-2 trade on the side entry. Noxie sprays down Henny. So the site control is now gone for Imperial. The rotations are here quickly. The smoke will allow a cross out of library, but Myron traces through the smoke. No way, 1 and 2! He's down to 32 HP, but he can tank 1 shot and still have a little bit of HP left. Noxie, 51 HP. Resetting on the site, getting close. Around that first box, the spray from No Way pops on up. The bell is rung, and ding, 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 Imperial are the winners of this anti-bonus round. For BESTIA, they did a lot of economic damage. That will be helpful. They got those 4 kills. They got the bomb down, and that was their full bonus. But you can't help but wonder what it could have been if they did not lose a 1v3. After No Way gets that first, I don't think there's any reason to force the fight. You have the crossfire once he inevitably crosses to sight. You have the bomb down. Play time. Don't go for an awkward smoke angle. Make him make a decision. Force No Way to make a mistake. That round was kind of given up by BESTIA's overzealousness to go ahead and get that trade initially.
Yeah, a 1v3 given to a momentum-based team. Sky's the limit. The issue is Imperial have been hamstrung by that economy. You gotta win, but it costs nearly everything. They'll have an op for Henny to try and do something. Vinny's on an MP9. Utility across the board is left wanting. And meanwhile, BESTIA still have a solid footing with which to find a third. It's AKs across the board. Good enough utility. In fact, they're perfect utility for BESTIA. And they know that they have an advantage in this round. They know they have the opportunity to reset the economy of Imperial with a victory here. Imperial changing up the setup. Going for a far more aggressive posturing towards A this time around. 1 top of flower pot and 1 down below. Vinny tucked in a corner. I like this setup, a very big change from what they had before. The issue is the spam on the Descenti does a lot. Deco traded. Phelps around these. Does have the bomb, but they have so many numbers here that they were more than prepped to recover it. Unseating the 3-man stack towards A, and given the lack of time for rotation, that means Henny and No Way are going to save in this one, all but guaranteed.
And I think now it is guaranteed that they will at least attempt that save. No Way's jiggling with the smoke out. He could get caught. The AKs are trained on this sort of jiggle peek here. Tomazin making sure nobody's peeking car. Clears out the cubby, knows there's a player half wall. Flash goes over, the hunt is on. Second flash blinds Tomazin. Molotov for No Way's position, but No Way will win the fight. There's the trade from Luchov, leaving Henny's op as the sole survivor for Imperial. And he will most likely survive, and indeed he will now. As the hunt is called off. BESTIA do not want to risk anything further, and Henny certainly does not want to lose that op. Such a massive investment to go for that. They don't get around. They get reset. They might force around the op, though. It's a pretty risky call to go for that, though. Probably just get some upgraded pistols here and there, and stack a sight, let the op go for a pick somewhere else, and make sure the op survives into round number 6, though. That has to be priority number 1, 2, and 3 for Imperial.
You always look at it. Either A, let your opera go for the pick and then try to juggle it down the line. Or B, set him up somewhere, play around him, but also make sure you have every other basis covered. Henny gonna go for the peek, down banana. There it is. That nade, though, was perfect and punishing. Henny down to 44 without even taking contact. Expertly timed by Luchov. Well, he hasn't woken up individually. He is not slouching either thus far on this second map. Imperial. 2 P250s and an op to try and rebuke a take. Deco, one. Henny, though, the op rotating around does find a trade at the very least. The issue is the smokes are going to obfuscate the take. And Henny can't really do much more because of it. He'll fall back. They'll try to save this out for the following, as you mentioned. And a fourth is quickly on the board for the T side of BESTIA.
Not really much problem for BESTIA in the round. They'll go for a bit more exit kills. At least one more, as Vinny the first to fall in the post plant. Phelps will tuck away and just hide. There's another one from Tomaszin. He's really picked up some slack, though. He's been fantastic going back to nuke. Almost had that ace to stay alive as well, Nate. So there's been some good play from Tomaszin. Henning's op staying alive again. Priority number 1, 2, 3, plan A, B, and C. That should be achieved here. Unless Luchov hits a ludicrous shot. Spots out Henny. Henny books it away. Wise decision from the veteran opper. He will not be caught. 4-1. Much similar start for BESTIA as we saw for Imperial on their respective map picks here. Although Imperial not having a string of rounds just yet. Unlike BESTIA's 3 in a row once the guns have come through. The T-side start for both teams has been very strong. And Henny's op has yet to really make an impact on this T-side, or the CT side of Inferno, which is not exactly a good sign, considering the T side of Inferno is not the most op-friendly whatsoever. Overpass, of course, a map where ops reign supreme. But he did mention some recent results for BESTIA, Nate, and there's a good start for round number 6, excuse me.
Good utility in response, but Vinny trying to double back, trying to actually find an advantage, that's foolhardy. He got his kill, he had his opportunity to cross with the nade, and instead he squanders it. The advantage remains with BESTIA as a result. Phelps has rotated around, sure, but can he actually stop this take? That's the better question. The op of Henny, where is it lurking? It's best to use to find an opening before a take proper comes through, and he is postured correctly over towards porch side. There are 2 players towards the brackets. The Molotov force him back a little bit. He can still find a fleeting frag. No, he'll only get the tag, not the bag. Tomaszin chucks in a nade for good measure, and Phelps across the map will at least stymie the B take for the next couple seconds.
It's going to be a rotate off of B as well by BESTIA, booking it to the A site. Myron leading the charge here. Going into apartments, low on health. The odds are not great for BESTIA in this round, especially with 2 players holding the A site so steadily. Making all the noise now are the T's as well. Deco spraying. Henny's trained on the angle. He's spotted, and Mine removes. They don't clear Cold Box. They do not clear Cold Zero Box, and that lets Descenti clutch up on the site. He did have Phelps coming through as a late rotate, but Descenti not being cleared. It's a basic mistake which costs BESTIA here, and that will allow Imperial a little bit of leeway away back into this half, and some much-needed confidence as well. Henny's op might have gotten taken down, but it was saved forward. But Noct C is going to go and try and challenge with one of his own now. So we are going to see an Oppers duel here on Inferno. Just past the halfway point of half number 1. The end of the first quarter, you might even say. Nade stack middle. The op is gone. And well, we won't see the Oppers duel just yet, Nate, because it's negated by $600 in utility. Descenti traded back at least for BESTIA. And now Luchov catches no way going too far aggressive. Both players peek with nades in hand, but Luchov is still pushing forward. Clearing out on side first and foremost. Jumping past the smoke. The bomb trailing through as well. Vinny might be going through it. Channeling Zitter, Stewie 2K, but Luchov watches for it. And no smoke criminal antics. However, Henny over the top will shut down the bomb cross of Deco. Save call initiated by Imperial in a 2v3 with no bomb plant and a player CT?
This is interesting. I think Henny was very paranoid about a late play towards it. We've had a player looking for quite a couple rounds. That pistol round comes to mind as well. But yeah, the round is over at this point. Phelps is back towards T-spawn. It looks like Henny's heading in his vague direction as well. A 5th on the board for BESTIA. I love Luchov's entry ability. He's waiting for utility. He's crossing at the optimal moments. He has the right pathing. And his team is overall built around him. He has players crossing, comfortable making the cross, knowing that he will be holding for any sort of aggression from CT. Overall, BESTIA's game plan when it comes to T-side Inferno is paying off in spades at the moment. 5-2. The op and the AK will survive for Imperial Shore. BESTIA can begin to build this T-side economy up and begin to build that lead even more so than it already exists.
Yeah, it's already solid T side for Bestia, but it can get even better. A timeout forced by Imperial. They know they can't let Bestia get too many more rounds, preferably no more rounds out of this half, although that is not exactly the most likely situation. But Imperial need to find a way to fix this, and I think part of the issue, Nate, is how passive they're playing. They're pretty much turtling up on sites. They're not going for any information. They're not pressuring any part of the map. They're just sitting there waiting to receive the kickoff. And by the time the ball reaches Imperial, Bestia is ready to just tackle them into the dirt.
Bestia are being allowed to set up. Simply. They're being given enough room, and they're playing it well enough that they can get the room while still maintaining either a man advantage or even footing. Bestia have looked across the board like the better squad. And they haven't even had to use the op either. They brought it out once, as we saw for Noxy. He was naded down, but... Imperial, what can they do in this one? What can they do to try and find something? They have an op boosted up, or an AK boosted up, excuse me, on Phelps over towards CT. They have an op over towards A holding long hauls. I feel like if Henny just gets a little bit more aggressive, tries to find the opening with a little bit more onus, they might be able to make something of it. But as it stands, he's playing just a little bit too slow. No way. Up close and personal with the USP finds one. Phelps doubling up in response over top. The smoke and a player now getting in towards Banana could sow some chaos. Imperial might just snowball their way to an upset victory on a save round.
Again, it's angles not being checked or expected by Bestia that's costing them in significant ways. Vinny will find the P250 frag. Noxy swings. He's so low on ammo, able to scrounge away a reload, but he's on 30 HP. The op of Henny's going to try and beat him back to A, and he will beat him with time and a half to spare. Running up towards middle, shut down by the veteran. And an Imperial half-buy eco round victory. That is huge for the Brazilian squad. That puts Bestia in a very awkward spot economy-wise, and not to mention momentum as well off the back of the timeout, too. And it's, of course, the angle clearing that's not being done by Bestia. They're not crossing their T's. They're not dotting their I's. They're not adding the accent marks where they're needed. It's that player first oranges with the USP that should not get a kill. Why do you have the bomb in hand when you have not cleared sight? And now this is just a death ball round of Bestia. They're all getting mowed down. Vinny and No Way, 2 and 3 kills respectively. It's about as easy as pie for Imperial. Now the real test comes through again for Bestia. Can they get the job done with the guns again? Or is their momentum completely stymied?
Might be quashed by that. Their buy is now lackluster. Imperial are just one away from tying it up, and they've built up an economy behind them. Again, momentum is a very real thing for this team of Imperial, so that could also begin to play a factor. And he's getting confident. He has 8 kills on the op. No Way, as well, as you talked about, getting quite a few kills in that round. Those two activate. Bestia could very well find themselves locked out once more. They don't have the op to challenge either from Noxy. I'm surprised we haven't seen more mid-peaks from Henny. Again, I feel like the op is best served finding an opening before the take proper comes through, allowing your team to have the advantage when it comes to the execute. We have not seen much of that from Henny. It's been far more measured, far less aggressive. And in this case, this is one of the few cases where I say it, but I want to see Henny go more aggressive.
I'm with you. He's an aggressive hopper. He's good at that. And what his team is lacking is that spear tip. They're sitting in testudo formation, Nate, but they're getting hit with mangonels and trebuchets. They need to go aggressive. They need a phalanx. They need to go on offense. Maybe now we'll see Henny go for it. He's not even going to peek past corner on Banana. This aggressive position towards mid might even just get dismantled by the push, too. Actually, no. Phelps will get 3 kills on the hold towards brackets, and that holds things down for Imperial. That is massive for the CTs, and he might even grab a quad kill. Noxy sneaks the bomb away, and he will try and rotate his way away towards apartments. But a 1v3 in this situation is not going to be very likely, especially as Imperial will not aggress. They don't aggress at a 5 versus 5, so why would they aggress in a 3v1 when they have the sites under control?
Noxie wants a way to win this round. He has to do it himself. He's not going to be given an opening. No one's going to press at this point. They're more than happy to rest on their laurels. Phelps holding the angle. Well read by Noxie. But Phelps still does more than enough damage to seal the deal in this round. With 45 seconds left, Noxie only has 14 HP. Both sites are being covered. The off angle's more than enough for Henny in this situation. Flash goes in. The op finds him with ease. Noxie taken out of the round, and the score tied up at 5 apiece. A resounding resurgence from Imperial, all things considered. And now they have a chance to even build a lead, perhaps, as BESTIA have been prevented from planting the bomb. That added economic stress only further hampers their investment. It's going to be Pistols and Kevlar in a bit of a half buy for BESTIA in this round. I would love to see them go for something quick, something aggressive, because thus far in this map, they've been very slow and measured in their assertiveness.
Fade stack's gonna rain through and chunk BESTIA down considerably. We have parity here in the last 2 rounds of the half. Penultimate here. Deagle pushing through for Lucha. Vinny on top of Emo. It's a bit of an off angle to be playing, and he won't be pressured just yet. Tomaszin trying to clear up brackets. Another passive round from Imperial. Playing a 2-1-2 with the 1 being in CT spawn. As if Imperial couldn't get any more passive, Nate. They have a guy literally holding Limbo in CT spawn.
They're second guessing everything. They're weary of these flanks, these late lurks. Aggression towards B, though, is the call. A little bit more assertive in their take this time around. I can respect it. No time for rotations, but Vinny and No Way are buying more than enough time and doing more than enough damage at this point. 2 for No Way, looking for the third, might even find it on the USP. He's just dancing, drops the rifle for BM. Noxie forced back into a very awkward spot, not long for the world. The last alive is that lurk. Imperial were right to be weary of it. It's all on timing, though, for Henny. He was looking for it. He's looking for it yet again. He spots it. He does not miss. Imperial. The paranoia in that round definitely pays off. Keeps the round clean and confident heading into the final of the first half. Imperial, as well, finally ripping away the lead in the dying embers of their CT side.
It's been a slow and steady crawl for Imperial to get back into the game and into a leading position at that. It started with their timeout and a couple big blunders by BESTIA, not clearing angles, not checking corners, going into open situations without their gun in hand, and it's just been a big downfall, I think, from BESTIA, who have yet to call a timeout to counter this string either, which I think is the more concerning prospect as well. Sure, they're probably looking towards their CT half to be what gets them over the line. Imperial are very good when it comes to getting momentum and running off of that momentum, Nate. And the half score lines are just about even, 52%-ish for both C and CT halves for BESTIA. 1-for-1 trade engagement out towards top banana. The bulk of the T's going up towards A. Phelps making his rotation in arches. Hold the line. Running away now, flashing support for Descenti over in pit. Contact made by No Ways. He's made the rotation through as well. First kill goes the way of Imperial. Deco shut down by Phelps. Mired maybe next to fall. Phelps is low. Tomaszin has Descenti, but No Way trades it back. He'll add another one to his tally of 4K for No Way and a 2-round lead for Imperial as we hit the halftime break.
Worst nightmare. Are you prepared? I'm your worst nightmare. I know you're scared. I'm your worst nightmare. Are you prepared? I'm your worst nightmare. I know you're scared.
5-2 start for Bestia, sent tumbling after an eco win from Imperial, puts them in the driver's seat and drives them to a 7-5 lead as they enter the second half. It's Pineapple Phillips and Boggs on the mic, and it all on the line now for Bestia. If they lose this map, they're out of the series, they're out of the qualifier, and they won't snag a spot at EPL Season 19. To say that tensions are high might be an understatement for the Argentine squad, but they enter their CT side at the very least, the side they should be favored on, the side they should be comfortable on. They have a very solid setup in this pistol. No kit, but double dually super soldiers on Noxy and Tomazin as they now enter into Banana for information.
No kits in 4 consecutive pistols. And for Bestia, there could not be more of a must-win pistol round than there is right now. They lose this one, Imperial, up to 8 at a minimum, if not 9. And then it all just tumbles downhill at the speed of an avalanche. And Bestia find themselves on the outside looking in, wishing they had another best of 3 to play and a chance to get some tickets to Malta. I don't know about you, Nate, but a trip to Malta sounds pretty darn nice. Getting to play some Counter-Strike while you're at it sounds even better. No way charging in, but knocked C up top. Oranges will get the first. The Flames from Henny will trade one back. Deco and Luchov get 2 more, make it 3 as Luchov bags a hat trick. He'll save the day for Bestia, deny the bomb plant, and a huge pistol round win for the Argentines. That's both pistol rounds converted on this map. That should be the map victory for them. That is the statistic, over a 70% win rate if you win both pistols and convert the following. Bestia accomplished that in half number 1. They will not have a force to contend with here in half number 2 as well. Double MP9s, dual Berettas, double A1Ss to farm up the cash, to get these kills, and to tie things up at 7 before we get deeper into this map and potentially the series.
I'm used to seeing 6 or 7 weapons in the hands of either side in a pistol round, but 6 in the hands on a second round is a very different affair. Noxy, scrupulous with the money to get an opt-out as soon as possible. That is all but assuredly the game plan for him. Get a kill or 2 here against the pistols. They know it's going to be a save round 90% of the time. Imperial have been rather prone to saving in the second round, as it looks like the technical issues which have plagued us in the first map are now coming to haunt us in the second. We were doing very well there for a good while. It'd been like at least half, if not 2, that we had not had a crash. But of course, as we talked about earlier on, it feels like this state of CS2, given the latest update, has caused some crashing issues. Thankfully, the game still going, and it won't be a long pause to reboot the spectator computer or spectator game, and we should be right into the action. But again, Bestia, they have a way back into it. They're on the CT side. Hopefully they can begin to stabilize and send us off to a third map of Overpass, but I feel like Imperial are not going to let that go by easily.
I have to agree. I feel like Imperial, they know what they have at stake right now. Why let it go to a third when you have the opportunity to end it here and now? You were able to make a very valiant comeback, get to 7 on the CT half, do what you can on the T side. The round actually really hasn't even happened yet. It's 20 seconds left, and nobody's made any contact. Nobody's lost any health. In comes the push. Finally, some kills come through for Bestia. 1 for each. Tomazin will be the one to double it up, and Deco will go grab an extra $600 with the MP9. Flawless win for Bestia on the anti-eco. Now it's buy-up time for Imperial and bonus round time for Bestia. I don't think Noxy is going to invest here either, Nate, since he... Never mind. I thought he was saving for an op. Apparently, he just wanted utility and an A1S.
Maybe hedging their bets, perhaps?
Could be. Dangerous call here.
He's investing all the way down. But for the most part, it is a bonus otherwise. Imperial as well, their buys far from good. They didn't get a bomb plant in either of the rounds. The investment of the Deagle can be a bit of a hamper for Henny, so they're going to be on a Galil and a couple AKs, and the issue will continue to plague us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the cameras. Welcome back to the desk. Looked like a round that could go either way. Imperial, though, definitely a bare bones investment. Bestia have, I'd say, the better of the investments of the two teams, even in spite of the MP9 and other lackluster weaponry. Bestia looking to turn a corner in a big way, looking to come back into it, looking to re-establish their lead. Imperial, though, the individuals can never be discounted.
You cannot discount the individuals. You cannot discount when they go together into a buddy system as well on the T side, Nate. They were able to open up so many spaces, so many rounds on Nuke just by having two players go in at the same time. One goes for the first fight, one goes for the trade. Half the time they wouldn't lose anybody at all, and they're getting a bomb down here early on. Phelps is going to take a lot of damage, though, crossing. The retake coming on through. The nade will not be impactful as it's Deco to finish off Phelps. Noxy going on through. Does spot one towards Banana. No way. Peeks in. Descenti has another, but Deco from Coffins, or what used to be called Coffins, is now popping up top. Descenti, the last one standing in a 1v2. Deco's gone 3 kills. Myron sticking and holding. It's ninja time, and he's not faking. Pros don't fake, and Bestia escape with an 8th. An upgrade for Myron, but it is Deco, the hero of the round, who got those 3 kills, who enabled the retake and the ninja, provided the covering fire. Imperial are going to be kicking themselves for that one around they could have had in the bag. They weren't able to unseat the ninja defuse.
The art of a good ninja is to take a very weird angle.
Indeed.
That player sticking his rump all the way out towards sight was totally unexpected. You saw the spam was off by a solid mile. Very well played by Bestia in the 1v2, or 2v1 I should say, not panicking in the slightest, and now further punishing Imperial with a nade stack, a barrage towards Banana. Henny, no way, both below 40. Vinny, 40 missing. Bestia, not a point of damage taken. Noxy also finally bringing out the big green on the CT side. Back to a more standard setup from Bestia as well. We saw them go for a 3-man stack towards B a fair couple of times in the early rounds of this half. Now they're back to the bread and butter, the 3-2. A far more passive stance towards the A site with just some presence towards the arch.
So much damage taken by Imperial, putting them in a very rough spot to be able to claim this round. Though Mazine gets a blindside onto Phelps, he'll tuck into porch. Maybe even just sit up and drink a nice espresso now, as there's plenty of time to wait. Imperial playing so slow on this T side. No real impetus, one way or another. Just moving around very methodically, meandering. That's a well-timed Molotov to hold off a porch run. Apps would be the play, though. Henny has utility. Vinny will be the first man in. The bulk death ball of Imperial could be so lethal. Out they go. Vinny spotted. He's not taken down, but Senti does fall. In comes the spray. Myron good for 1. 2v4 with no time and no HP. Does not look likely for Imperial here. Deco's rotation onto site. Tomazine tucks in as well. Under 10 seconds. No chance for Vinny. And no HP left either. 9-7. A 2-round lead for Bestia now. And 4 in a row to start off their CT side. Here's another timeout for Imperial. Remember what happened the last time Imperial called a timeout, Nate? That 5-2 lead for Bestia evaporated into thin air.
Momentum-based squad. They're on another half buy again as well. We saw an eco victory. That's what got the wheels turning in the first half. It could be very much the same here in the second. You have to get the wheels turning sooner rather than later. Phelps going to go for a hero AK with just Kevlar on the body. Descenti, in no way Kevlar Tech 9s. Vinny, a Tech 9, and no, actually he has full Kevlar and helmet now. And Henny, just a deagle with some utility. This is a potent buy, but they have to play their cards right, Imperial. They can't get punished by a nade barrage. They need to slow things down, or they need to go quick. Either turn up the pace to 11, or slow down the pace to a 3 or 4, but don't get caught waiting until 10 seconds. There has to be a happy medium struck.
All that is a good start for Imperial. The AK spam from Phelps will take down Noxy, trying to go for the peak up top middle. That'll bring a man advantage and a much-needed boon to Imperial here on this T side. Luchov catches Henny trying to swing, though. The aggression not yet punished. And Luchov will smoke his way out of dodge, get back to top car. Back away to side. Tomazine the blindside, but nobody strikes before he falls. 3v3. The damage being done by Imperial. Ludicrous as it stands. Great flash. That is the kind of pushing I've been looking for from Imperial on this T half. We get to see it now. Descenti with a salvage top will refrag onto Deco, leaving Luchov in a 1v2. Walking through a smoke. They're watching, they're waiting. He gets one, but not the second. Descenti descends death from above and brings Imperial to within one. The half buy off the back of a timeout, Nate. It's lethal again.
Lightning strikes twice in a row. We'll see if the trend is the same. Imperial still trailing by one, sure, but momentum-based team. Gonna keep saying it. It's the theme for Imperial. A win like that can definitely light a fire under the seats of BESTIA, as their economy is now suddenly feeling the pressure and about ready to collapse. No helmets, 3 A1Ss, 2 MP9s. Good utility, sure, but once again on the brink of disaster. Aggression down Banana, and this time Henny is the spear point with the op. He'll find the opening on a Deco, and while Luchov will try to trade, No Way's more than ready for the possibility. He takes damage, but dishes it back in kind with a dink, and furthering now the advantage. 5 versus 3, only 2 A1Ss and an MP9 standing for BESTIA as they rapidly begin to rotate, perhaps feeling the pressure, perhaps getting antsy on this CT side.
The pressure is mounting, and it is looking worse and worse consistently for BESTIA here, especially after losing such a disappointing round as the last one. They had all the advantages, and it gets ripped away. Descenti will get baited by that smoke. Tomazin playing around that. That's a nice little bit of work from him. Knocked C, however, walks into the op of Henny. That's going to be one of the easier shots he's hit all day. Myron so aggressive still. Will not catch the timing, though. Henny's going to book it. Has support from 2 of his teammates up Banana as well. Making his way back to the B site. I don't know why Henny hasn't crossed. Oh, he gave the op to No Way. That's what they were waiting for. Good old Bogdan's Law. And so Myron and Tomazin will attempt to save. And I think that's a wise call for the wounded and limping BESTIA side. Imperial looking to restore parity again and get things to a 9-9 score.
There's a world where if BESTIA get a little bit more assertive, if they get a little bit more gumption on this CT side and actually press like Myron in the apartment, say peeking the balcony, or getting a little bit more assertive earlier and pushing down. Henny was alone bottom mid with the op towards underpass. That is a spot where that could definitely be exploited, dropped, and potentially upend the outcome of this round, but only speaking about speculatives after all. Hunt does not succeed, and Imperial won't press any further. 3 players survive, including that op on No Way. BESTIA get 2 AKs. That could be something they hold on to and purchase around going forward, but we're back to even footing. We're back to 9-9, as you mentioned. 4 rounds, and one of these 2 teams will have victory, but if they each get 3, then we go beyond the pale into overtime.
Beyond the pale, I think, would be a good result for BESTIA at this point. But for Imperial, I don't think it would be bad either, considering the start they had and how they've had to rely on an eco and a half-buy victory to get to this point here, where they have a pole position to grab a lead. One of those AKs in the hands of Myron, destroyed by Descenti. Great little angle around the chair. Takes the height advantage and gives him the classic, "It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!"
I was wondering when we get a Star Wars reference, and for once it's not a force buy. Thank goodness, something different. Pistols, 2 AKs, one of those on Noxie at 8 HP. Luchov on a pistol, though, proving my doubts wrong, and Noxie in the right spot on 8 HP, able to find a second. Things might get upended here, especially with Luchov now on the op. Things can get interesting. The save might just snowball into something more for BESTIA. They might upend this round. Phelps, Vinny, and No Way. They have a lot of control towards A, but No Way seems more inclined to go towards B. Instead, he has the bomb on his back, and he is alone. Luckily, there's no one close to challenge. The issue is Luchov is still here, and he has that op in hand. A lot rests on that to finish this round in favor of BESTIA.
That's a nice little peek from Bedroom, putting Phelps to sleep. The op from Luchov in dark make it so for No Way, and he'll give a second as well. Nice opping from Luchov. That's a sight for sore eyes for Bestia. Something crisp and clean like that. And an eco of their own to put a little pressure back on Imperial. A nice one-round lead for Bestia. But it's the fact that it comes off of such a meager investment. The two saved AKs and just about that. That makes it so much better for the Argentines. There'll be a buyout from Imperial around this timeout. But it's almost make or break now, considering their economy is about to be broken should they lose this next round, and how little racetrack is left overall in this half. Round 20 of 24. Bestia need 3. Imperial 4. 2 for each team. We'll see us up to max round. Imperial 3 for OT.
Definitely a world where it gets overtime. In fact, I think that's how this map should end, given their history on it.
I wouldn't be surprised the way it's looking either.
Definitely looks like it's being set up for that. Luchov coming alive individually. Not a moment too soon. Though Mazin has been having his moments. Noxie a little bit quiet. He could wake up here on the op, but then his team seems inclined and able to do the heavy lifting if required. Good utility damage, but Henny pressuring in response finds one despite the damage taken. Deco, his spam can't quite connect either. Advantage secured for Imperial at this stage. They're still teetering on the brink. It's still far from over. The op of Noxie within around Arch needs to be careful not to get caught out. Tomazin harassing from Porch finds 3! Finally traded, but the damage has been done. Vinny's trying to pull it back. He ties it up at least. In fact, he secures an advantage 3 of his own in response between 2 very distinct angles. Imperial coming back off the back of Vinny's tremendous 3K towards the side of things. And the bomb is still a long way from any sort of action. Deco, a 1v2. Both players are lit, however. Vinny and Henny, 20 HP between them. Deco, though, can he actually secure the clutch? He finds one. He reads it perfectly. Immediately thinking about rotating towards A. No, he doubles back. This will give Vinny the opportunity of a post-plant setup. 1 versus 1. Deco still waiting, waffling, hoping that he goes towards B, but that is not the case. Vinny, this is the right call. Play a headshot angle. He knows you're low.
The nade, though.
You know Deco has HP.
Well-placed nade could end it all, but he spotted out Deco in library. Deco swings out, tosses in the nade. It does 1 point of damage. Molotov misses as well. Vinny trying to play the off angle, trying to play whack-a-mole, but he's the one destroyed by Deco. The tenuous lead expands to 2 for Bestia. They grab another massive clutch from Deco. But should it have even gotten to that point is the better question, Nate. Vinny makes it so dangerous and costly. But Bestia able to keep their nose just above water, not dragged down under yet by Imperial. 2 rounds to victory for Bestia. And a map number 3 of Overpass here. AKs aplenty for the T's. Utility only on 2. 1 solitary Molotov on No Way. Zilch for Phelps and Decenti. This is pretty much where the entire map hangs in the balance for Imperial. Win this round, you can bring it back. Lose this round, broken, battered, beaten, all but destroyed.
Shattered. Maybe the best term. Again, momentum-based team at 9-12, given what could have been. Good spam, but the flash is better. Vinny's taken down. Luchov, a good opening with the assist from Deco. And no utility left for Imperial at this stage means they're going to struggle in any sort of take. Phelps trying to go for a contact play in the apartments. He slipped the gap between Myron's jump peak. But there's a player on the balcony. It's going to be totally neglected. Phelps is dead to right. Still Mazin. 1 spots the second. Nice bait and switch for Myron and Pitt. A second secured. Again, unanswered. 5v2 for Henny and No Way. At this point, they might even contemplate saving the rifles. But will Bestia allow that? No way. For a way back into the round. He finds one, but the bomb is dropped on A. It's over at this point. He could try to save the op for the following, but the T-side op probably not going to be the best. So they'll just try to save their AKs instead. 35 seconds is a long time to wait, but Bestia are inclined to just sit on their haunches and wait. 9-12. secured BESTIA 3 map points on their own map pick. If they find one more, they'll be off to Overpass as a decider.
At this point, Overpass is deserved for BESTIA. They've battled it back, tooth and nail, up against pressure, double ecos. They managed to find one of their own that spurred them forward into this sort of situation. Imperial will save here, but it's triple map point for BESTIA. Imperial having some lapses in judgment of their own, Nate. Not clearing angles as well as they should. Something that plagued BESTIA going back into that first half. And the individual play of Luchov and Tomazin, that has been a saving grace for BESTIA. Luchov, who was absent on map 1. Tomazin, who was the only one there for BESTIA on Nuke. Deco, of course, has shown up for a bit here and there when he's needed. Myron and Noctsy as well, but not as much. Meanwhile, No Way's tried to carry the bulk of the load. Henny and Vinny have done some well-placed rounds as well, but just hasn't been the same fiery Imperial that we've been used to seeing them across map number 1. An Overpass looming over. Makes me think perhaps we might see a nice 50-50 map number 3, which is exactly how a best of 3 should end.
That's how this head-to-head should end, given the history between these two teams. Aggression towards middle at this point from Imperial. They have no utility. They're just going forward as best they can. No Way and Descenti open it up. Give them something to desperately cling to. Phelps triples down. And that is the site cracked open. At this point, Noctsy and Luchov should be headed for the hills. They're going to look for an exit or two towards Arch in case somebody is a little bit too big for their britches, but that's not the case. They're all sitting on site. They're all playing the post point. They have one player back towards T-spawn, weary of a flank. That's Phelps. He's on the wrong side of the map for the action. Luchov and Noxy going to save their weapons for the following. Imperial will stay alive. But BESTIA still have some money in the bank to invest. BESTIA and Imperial, we set up this game as a battle between a team focused on individual performance and a team heavily prioritizing team play. But when you combine BESTIA's team play and those fiery individuals that you mentioned in Luchov and Tomazin, becomes a far more frightening aspect for Imperial to contend with. However, Imperial are doing quite well to change up the pace, to maintain some semblance of momentum, and they are far from out of this map yet. 2 more rounds, and they will send us off to overtime on Inferno.
2 more rounds can be an eternity, or can be as easy as ABC for Imperial. A flawless victory to get the first of 3 required for overtime. It's a good start. They need a good finish, Nate. In this case, they have to be strong for 3 periods. Can't just be a good first period team, good second period team, or a good third period team. They need all 3 to get to OT. Slow and steady. Pensive from BESTIA. Full investment from the defenders. The op for Noctsy, the double A1Ss, such minimal utility. No defuse kits, only 1 helm. Not like it matters against the AKs, but a pair of dual Berettas for Deco, not even a P250. This is one of the worst buys BESTIA could have mustered for this sort of a round. Because if they lose this, what are they going to have in the following?
Desperate. The dually's definitely an interesting call of all pistols. Imperial were probing, hoping for some information, hoping for aggression, but BESTIA have no choice but to hold their angles. They cannot overextend. They have to use their weaponry at its maximal effect. MP9 up close. Deco off angle on the dualies. And he's alone on the site now. Smoke goes down. Luchov was holding towards CT. Deco has to do it all here. Swinging out. Timing's perfect. 1 secured on the dualies. More than could be expected. Phelps finds 1, but Deco gets a double. Still alive as well towards the firebox. No, the dualies don't do it. Looking for a 30. Still dancing. Deco making the dualies look perfect. Henny doubles down. Phelps finally unseats Deco. It looks like what was a chaotic round could be over. 5 seconds left. Tomazin. He got another. He made it away.
No.
Wait a second. The bomb hits the dirt. But can Descenti bring it back from the brink? Tomazin dancing around the fountain is felled. Descenti prevents the descent into map 3. He keeps Imperial alive, but that round is the definition of chaos.
And from chaos, will we find order, Nate? Holy smokes. Double from the dualies at New Box. And then brought all the way back in by Decenti in the 1v1. The force is there. 5-7s on 2. Deagle for Deco. MP9 for Tomazin. And Noctisy with the Scout. Molly, nades, utility to sandbags. It's a broken buy for Bestia. And a must-win round for Imperial. Map number 3 is Overpass. Map number 1 was Nuke, which seems like an entirely different game ago. A 13-3 victory for Imperial. 5 kills and a bomb plant from overtime. So much pensiveness from both sides, Nate. No one wants to make a mistake.
Nope. Crazy we even got to this point. That round.
Oh, yeah.
Too much going on. Between a double dually kill, a drive-by of the A1S, everything went the way of Bestia, and yet still the disparity in riflery proved to be insurmountable. Straight execute now in towards B. Player up for Thorners and Luchov and Deco around the smoke. Spam comes in. The 5-7 will be the one to emerge victorious in the first, but Henny trade via Noctisy. Deco on the fountain does not fare much better. Luchov, though, is still kicking. The 5-7 tripling down, securing an advantage. Again, it's a bloodshed on the B site. Henny dancing around. A good quick scope onto one, but he's still stuck up the creek without a paddle. He needs support from Decenti. It will finally come through. The bomb will hit dirt. Tomazin can't succeed. The op is the one that does it in. 12-12. We're heading to overtime, ladies and gentlemen.
I did not expect to see overtime here. I thought that Imperial had a very good chance to win it in regulation, Nate. And then Bestia brought it to triple map point. And somehow, some way, Imperial found a way to win it all. The individual efforts from both sides have been there, but Imperial just seems to be one step ahead. They have the extra individual who carries them over the line. And for Bestia, it's what they've been lacking. Luchov and Tomazin doing so much. Deco has been there as well, but the disparity between the bottom 2 and the top 3 has been something costing Bestia considerably. Overtime, MR3 12.5k. Henny burning, but he makes Deco pay. Well thought out. A good risk for the Opper. That's Henny's experience coming into play. Former major finalist, for those who forgot, all the way back in 2017.
A good risk. Again, a spear point. And one of the few times we've seen an op, a big refresher on this T side. Something new that Bestia perhaps weren't accounting for. That X Factor finding an opening. Tomazin now might be unseated over towards the Arch Cubby. Good nade forces him out. Decenti nades and finds the kill. Another one towards the Arch is expected. Meyer, though, still finds a double. Henny trading. Noxy and Pit only good for one. Henny and No Way, though, still securing an advantage situation. And Henny is feeling it. The op swings out. 3 kills to his name in the round. And again, Imperial at long last establishing a lead in this second map.
Imperial are finding ways to win rounds. Individuals picking up big kills. And Bestia have not had the counter. Now Bestia's T-side had an early success and a 5-round loss streak to close out the half. Imperial getting through the Stonewall defense towards the tail end of the half. And now an OT. Good little chip damage onto Deco and Luchov with that Molotov towards Carr. Nades going through. That's a chunky boy onto Luchov. 36 HP left. That is a very bad situation for Bestia, but they've made better out of worse. Both teams managing miracle rounds throughout the course of this second half. Will overtime be any different? This porch play from Noctisy with the op. Such a dangerous spot to be in. Hard to get out of there without being able to spray away for a multi-kill. He'll reposition now. Much easier to escape from there. Flash won't really blind Deco, and Imperial being rather patient with their setup, trying to go to peek out of Bestia. Now they spotted Deco. The op won't be there, but Vinny has found the headshot. Tomasin spotted and removed. Vinny gets 3! He goes nuclear here on the entries up towards B. Does it all alone, and Bestia will be stuck to save, as it's not 16K of the loss or the start money in this half. They've got no opportunity if they lose this op to get another. Unless they get a drop somewhere or other, somebody sacrifices utility. It's almost certainly a save, and the hunt is already on.
No reason not to hunt. They have so much money. Noxie and Myron find one apiece, but now the information's there. The issue is a 2 versus 3 is far more palatable in terms of a retake. Noxie and Myron might just hazard a go. Flash over, Noxie mollies in towards the tree, but the lack of contact taken at this point. Bomb halfway gone. Round is pretty much gone with it. Still, he'll hazard something. Myron pre-firing, can't get the kill. And he finds that. The up of Noxie. Sure, blow for blow, but at this point the round is over. It's conceded. 2 in a row for Imperial in overtime. 14-12 secured. They're just 2 rounds away from submitting a victory in this series in a 2-0 fashion.
Two rounds away and a 3 OT half would go marvelously to finishing the job for Imperial. Everyone shining when called upon. The triple entry up banana for Vinny. Then the closing work done. Bestia. They have their buy. They have their op. The M4A1 Nesses. A good amount of utility as well. Maybe a bit of an aggressive posture too. Being a little more passive for the initial utility towards Banana, that's a good adjustment. Some A aggression might be a nice call. Henny tagged down solo. But he is not the first to fall yet. Utility being used to bracket as that Banana control spurring Imperial into this A take. Double apps, double brackets. Smoke going down for more Banana control. Henny making sure nobody comes from behind, but Noxie dropped by Phelps, who's found a double out of apartments. Tomazine equalizes things here. Takes a massive amount of damage. Vinny, blind, rushing in. That's his own flashbang into that push, but it works out perfectly. The drive-by allows the bomb to go down. Now Luchov and Deco on the outside looking in. Great nade damage onto Luchov, who gets domed by Vinny. Up to Deco now in a 1v3 to a 1v2. A flank coming in from the off of Henny. Vinny will hold the line. Massive back-to-back rounds from him, and the former Furia man gets it to 15 and triple match point for Imperial.
Felt like their backs were truly against a wall. What was it, 9-12 for Imperial? Now 6 in a row going unanswered. The momentum firmly in their favor. The individuals for both teams have awoken shore. In fact, the top of the server is on the side of Bestia, and yet the score favors Imperial handedly in this set of overtime. Henny awakening at a critical juncture in the overtime of T-side as the opera. Everybody else as well doing the heavy lifting. Phelps had his moment out of balcony, for example, in that last round. Imperial looking to put this series to bed. Bestia, what can they do on this T-side? The onus is on them. They have to break open one of these sites. It is another passive posturing from Imperial. 2 on the B side proper, 1 spotting from the coffin. That is Vinny. Where is the op as well? Henny's actually holding the balcony instead, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the passive truck side. The Bestia have decided it's going to be a B side play. Good harassing utility for Imperial to slow things down. Bestia. Ed 4 here. They're beginning to fall back now. Perhaps a default as they look for bracket control.
I think they're relying on Tomazine to get the info. And there's been nothing spotted at A at all. So now it's a lean towards B. 4 of 5. Working their way Banana. Another smoke used by Imperial. Just buying
whiffed,
all of this time. All
looks like it's whiffed
5
on the
here
map.
now.
Is it? Is there a gap in it?
I can't really tell.
I can't either, but it's going to be a B play. Did come in, smoke off for Vinny. No way on site. Gets one good swing from Vinny. Perfectly timed. And the spam from CT does so much to Meyer. And site control will be taken. Bomb plant will hit dirt in the fountain. But a 3 versus 4 on low HP and no utility now to rebuke this retake means that Imperial are well poised in this post plant.
No more utility bar Molotov for Imperial. That could be so dangerous, flushing players out for Bestia. And it goes. Deco forced into the open. Dropped by the op of Henny. Meyer, crisp headshot, but they need more. Noxy one more, but it's Henny and Vinny to mop up the rest. The bomb defused, and Imperial, for the first time in the last 3 months, will take down Bestia.